Dear friends in Jesus Christ, in today's gospel, Jesus is healing a withered hand person on the Sabbath day. So this was, totally opposed by the Pharisees or the law or the rules and regulations handed over from Moses, and that has been expanded to this level that on the Sabbath day they maintain strict rules for medical attention to be paid. So on the Sabbath day, Jesus was going there. If he could have had precautionary prudence, so he would have skipped the person or he not noticed the person and go away from the person, because to heal the person on the Sabbath day was asking for a trouble. So Jesus was ready to get into the trouble or ask for a trouble. That's why he healed him on the Sabbath day. On the Sabbath day, for medical attention, on the Sabbath day. So there were certain rules and regulations, like unless if it is a matter of life and death, so the person can be attended, he can be treated. For instance, if a woman is giving a child or is in a childbirth, so she is giving a child, therefore that can be attended, that medical attention can be given there. And if a person is having a sore throat, and that can be cleared. And if sometimes people walk there and wall may fall down on them, so that time people can rush and take the wall and see whether the person is alive or dead. If he is alive, then they can treat the person. If he is dead, then they have to leave the body until the next day, so they cannot bury him on the Sabbath day. And then also like that, if somebody cuts his finger, so he can put a bandage on the wound or the place where he has cut, but he cannot put ointment. So strange, the rules and regulations that they had in those time. I don't know whether it is till now they follow it or not. No, those time they had it. Very strange for us to understand. If someone is getting wounded, we are ready to put a bandage, or we are ready to put an ointment. So even if it is on Sunday we celebrate as there is a little Easter's. Therefore, for us, it's a free day. It's a holiday for us. So we may not leave the person, like when it is wounded, when he has got wound on his hand. So we may try to put the bandage. Before that, we apply ointment. But in the case of Jews, they do not do, because they want to follow strict rules and regulations. For that, the Romans were recruiting men from Jews for soldiers, for a job of being a soldiers. So what these people do on the Sabbath day, if there is a war, they wage a war against anybody. So these Jews, they will not go for a war. They will not go for a war. They will not fight. They will be standing there. So because of that, Romans were, not recruiting these Jews, not recruiting Jews for their for to be soldiers. They recruited in the beginning, but later when they realized that these people are not fighting on Sabbath day, so what is the purpose of recruiting them and be ask them to be soldiers in our army? So like that, when they go for war, it happened like that. So they began to avoid them, or not to give them, did not give them job. So like that, the Jews were being very strict on the Sabbath day. Nothing can be done on the Sabbath day. So when you see these things, these things is happening. So Jews are, what way they are oriented? They are oriented towards rituals. Rituals is very much important for them. So if the thing has to be done in this way, then that has to be done in that way. It cannot be done in other ways. So they were very strict with their rituals, following rituals, hand washings, and going for a wedding celebration and looking for a wine, and then washing their hands and feet before any meals. They keep themselves purified. Until they do that, they will not keep their hand on the food. And they like this, they have many rules and regulations. So if you analyze or if you study them, even the jug that they use, jug that they use for, like there will be two handle. So when you have seen, you might have seen a jug is having one handle to lift it up. So we could see that, the drinking, the jug where in which we fill the water, so that jug has got only one handle. But those for the Jews, So for a hand washing or a leg washing, there is a jug. It has got two handle. So they have to hold it in one hand and then pour it, and they have to use the other hand, like left and right. So they will not hold the same handle with both the hands. So there will be one hand for the one handle, the other hand for the other handle. So like that, that so many rules and regulations they were imposing upon the people, and they also were following. And this is what, in our lives also, we also maybe could be like them, when we strictly follow the rules and regulations. So if this has to be done like this, then we only want that thing has to be done in that way, not in any other way. If we are like that, then we also very ritualistic and formalistic, because we do not go for a change or something new that may come into our life. And when you look into the life of Jesus, he was at service. He was not bothering about any rituals, any service, or any rules and regulations. What has to be done, that is what Jesus was doing. What has to be done, that person has to be get healed. Whether it is a Sabbath day or any ordinary day, the person has to be get healed. If the person could be a mason, so for him, you totally depend on his hands. So hands is needed to build a wall, build a house. So he cannot buy anything, or he cannot earn his own money. He cannot earn his own living if his hands are withered. So in a way, helping him, like giving him a life, that new life is giving him. So in that way, Jesus was only focusing on what was necessary, what was good things to be done, and that is what Jesus was doing. And we could see that Jesus was raising a question, like, is it lawful to do good or to do evil? So like, the Jews were bound to accept Jesus, that it was lawful to do good on the Sabbath, and they were bound to reject that it was not lawful to do evil on the Sabbath. So such a way, Jesus was raising them questions, not simple questions. They have to think, and they cannot say one answer. They cannot say answer to one question of Jesus, because they will be in trouble if they answer to one question. He is asking two questions in a question, combining two questions. We can say it as complex questions he asks. So they cannot answer. It's very difficult for them to answer, because the wisdom of God is there in Jesus. And this is what, dear friends, as we look into this today's gospel, as we reflect, so what we can do is that, okay, let us focus that. Let us look at ourselves, look at our life. Whether am I ritualistic, or am I service oriented person? So am I always looking for the ritual, like when I go for the Eucharistic celebration? So like, there is a parable, Samaritan was helping. So like, the priest is coming, and he sees that a stranger is being wounded on the roadside, and he did not notice, or he saw him, and he did not wanted to help him. He did not want to help him. So he escaped him, because he was going for the service, going for the mass, or going for a service or ritual in the church or a sanitarium. So if we are like that, when you go for mass and they see somebody is being wounded, when you help them, you will be helping Jesus. You will be attending the service of Jesus, attending the service of mass. Because for a great example, we can see the fourth king who was trying to see Jesus or meet Jesus. Like we know, three wise men, they were meeting Jesus. Once they met Jesus, they were, baby boy Jesus, they were offering their gifts that they were bringing. So these three wise men, they already had a plan with the other wise man, so who was also wanted to join them. So particular place, what happened, as the fourth wise man began his journey, so what happened was that, on the way he saw somebody was ill, a stranger was ill. So he began to help that person. Like that, his journey will be going on. So whatever the gift that he was bringing, so he gave one by one to the other person who was in need, as he was on his way to follow Jesus or find Jesus. So he was helping on the way, and giving the gift one by one to the other person, not directly to Jesus, But finally, what happens at the Calvary, he could hear the sound of Jesus talking to him. You, whatever you have done to the least of my brothers, you have done it to me, dear friends. That is what, dear friends, whenever we do something to the brothers and sisters, so who are representing Jesus, who have the presence of Jesus in them, so we are doing to Jesus Christ, dear friends. We are doing to Jesus Christ. As we see in today's gospel, the withered hand person is healed by Jesus because Jesus knew what was supposed to be done. So he did it, dear friends. Let us also not to be so ritualistic, but to be a service oriented person in our lives. Thank you. God bless you.